Try to tell them about it. They'll just stare at you with those big round candy eyes. They won't understand zip. It's like trying to tell somebody what chocolate tastes like. Mitchell Sanders nodded. Or shit. There it is. You got to taste it, and that's the thing. With Marianne, she was there. She was up to her eyeballs in it. After the war, man, I promise you, you won't find nobody like her. Suddenly Rat pushed up to his feet, moved a few steps away from us, then stopped and stood with his back turned. He was an emotional guy. Got hooked, I guess, he said. I loved her. So when I heard from Eddie about what happened, it almost made me, like you say, it's pure speculation. Go on, Mitchell Sanders said. Finish up. What happened to her, Rat said, was what happened to all of them. You come over clean and you get dirty, and then afterward it's never the same. A question of degree. Some make it intact, some don't make it at all. For Marianne Bell, it seemed Vietnam had the effect of a powerful drug, the mix of unnamed terror and unnamed pleasure that comes as the needle slips in and you know you're risking something. The endorphins start to flow and the adrenaline, and you hold your breath and creep quietly through the moonlit nightscapes. You become intimate with danger. You're in touch with the far side of yourself as though it's another hemisphere, and you want to string it out and go wherever the trip takes you and be host to all the possibilities inside yourself. Not bad, she said. Vietnam made her glow in the dark. She wanted more. She wanted to penetrate deeper into the mystery of herself, and after a time the wanting became needing, which turned then to craving. According to Eddie Diamond, who heard it from one of the greenies, she took a greedy pleasure in night patrols. She was good at it. She had the moves. All camouflaged up, her face smooth and vacant, she seemed to flow like water through the dark, like oil, without sound or center. She went barefoot. She stopped carrying a weapon. There were times apparently when she took crazy death-wish chances, things that even the greenies balked at. It was as if she were taunting some wild creature out in the bush, or in her head, inviting it to show itself, a curious game of hide-and-go-seek that was played out in the dense terrain of a nightmare. She was lost inside herself. On occasion, when they were taken under fire, Marianne would stand quietly and watch the tracer rounds snap by, a little smile at her lips, intent on some private transaction with the war. Other times she would simply vanish altogether, for hours, for days. And then one morning, all alone, Marianne walked off in the mountains and did not come back. No body was ever found. No equipment, no clothing. For all he knew, Rat said, the girl was still alive. Maybe up in one of the high mountain villas, maybe with the Montagnard tribes, but that was guesswork. There was an inquiry, of course, and a week-long air search, and for a time the Tra-Bong compound went crazy with MP and CID types. In the end, however, nothing came of it. It was a war, and the war went on. Mark Fossey was busted to PFC, shipped back to the hospital in the States, and 2 months later received a medical discharge. Marianne Bell joined the missing. But the story did not end there. If you believe the Greenies, Rat said, Marianne was still somewhere out there in the dark. Odd movement, odd shapes, late at night, when the Greenies were out on ambush, the whole rainforest seemed to stare in at them. A watched feeling, and a couple of times they almost saw her sliding through the shadows. Not quite, but almost. She had crossed to the other side. She was part of the land. She was wearing her culottes, her pink sweater, and a necklace of human tongues. She was dangerous. She was ready for the kill.